Hello and welcome to DAB Training. You're watching the workshop number 3 out of 5, through which we decided to address the bullying phenomenon through dance activities and body expression. During this workshop, the participants will experience the roles of the leader, the helper and the follower, and the person we can all trust by embodying the figure of the active observer.
The facilitator should invite the participants to sit in a circle and say some words about the previous workshop, their possible aha moments, and how their awareness, awakened by these activities, affected their lives. They could also share their needs of the day, what they would like to further develop. The facilitator should put all the participants in pairs, taking into account the size of the participants and making sure that person A and person B in each pair have similar sizes. Person A should close their eyes and person B should take one of A's hands or wrists and put the other one at A's back or shoulder. At first, A should take a few seconds, 30 seconds to 1 minute at least, to feel the points of contact with B and the floor. When comfortable, B should take A around the space on a slow walk first. A should keep the eyes closed, and a natural walking pace as A feels comfortable. To implement the task, B should take A on a dance improvisation, keeping a very slow pace if needed, within the space. B could change the points of contact with A to help them get out of a walk and encourage movement with the whole body, paying attention to A and the other people in the room. Towards the end, after around 5 to 7 minutes, the facilitator should encourage the participants to slow down and resume the very first position they had, staying a few seconds, 30 at least, in the position, closing their eyes and reconnecting to their feelings and their points of contact with their partner and the floor. Time, about 15 minutes. Discussion with each pair, 5 minutes. They should discuss with their partners how they felt and what surprised them during this part of the exercise. Exchange of roles repeating the exercise. Time, about 15 minutes. Discussion with each pair, 5 minutes. The participants should go back into the space and keep the connection with the same partner. Person A should stand on their feet and unbalance their body towards their back, while person B stands at the back of A ready to catch them as they go back. Person A should not move their feet from the floor. Person B should push A back onto their feet in a standing position, and then lift A to place them in another spot of the room and repeat the experience. If B cannot lift A, they can drag them on the floor to put A in another spot of the room. Keeping the same roles, they should repeat the experience at least 5 times, during which the facilitator should guide them to go further when A is falling back. B should delay the catch as much as possible without putting A at risk at any time. Important: B should keep a strong position with their legs, opening them in a wide position, one leg in the front and the other back, keeping a straight back and a strong core when receiving A's weight. At first, B should keep their hands in a position where they can receive A's shoulders in their palms as A falls back, and use their palms to push A back on their feet. B should step back a bit more as they both, A and B, feel comfortable with the fall. If the participants want to try to catch A at the very last moment before they touch the floor, A should slightly open their arms and B should catch A with their elbow pit under A's armpits. The facilitator should at first observe couple by couple, doing the exercise to help in case of any need and make sure that no one puts anybody else at risk. The facilitator could ask some participants to observe and intervene in case of need by splitting the group and making sure that each couple has at least one observer at the beginning. When it comes to lifting people around, the facilitator should explain how to lift in order to keep their body safe the whole time. Their partners could lean over one of the lifter's shoulders in order to help them with the sharing of their weight, and they should not jump over the shoulder. On the contrary, they should not move at all apart from lightening up their body by leaning on top of the shoulder. When the lifter brings down their partner, they should again use their legs by opening their feet and bending their legs until their partners touch the floor. Everybody should go back into a big circle apart from a couple who should stand in the middle of the circle. The participants in the circle should be spaced out in order to give room to the pair. The pair should repeat the first task of the workshop, taking into account the COVID-19 adaptations if needed. Although this time, both A and B should close their eyes and the group around them should pay attention and avoid any collision with the walls or any of them by guiding the couple with gentle touch if needed. This gentle touch will influence the pair's improvisation. Important: A and B should start exactly as they did in exercise number 1. The leader should keep one hand at the back of the follower and the other should hold one of the follower's wrists. They should take time to feel their connections to one another and to the floor, which represents all the exterior points of contact, exterior of their own body, and feel the connection that can help them become one. They should keep this position for at least 30 seconds before going into slow motion walk and get into the improvisation. At the facilitator's signal, A and B should slow down and swap roles, keeping the eyes closed. The facilitator should judge the time needed for the pair to develop their journey. 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes is the recommended time for the pair before swapping roles. About 3 or 4 minutes by pair in total. At the facilitator's signal, again, A and B should slow down towards the stillness, to then open their eyes and reconnect with the space. All the pairs should experience the exercise. Materials needed: a long rope or a strong thread or a piece of fabric like a long and solid scarf, around 2 meters long per pair. The facilitator should put all the participants in pairs, person A and B. B should place the rope or scarf around A's waist and hold the two ends, creating tension to establish the connection. A should close their eyes and B should take A around the space by pulling A, paying attention to everyone and everything around A. They should start by walking around the space and keep it slow and sensitive as much as needed. They can implement dynamics by concentrating in actions like pulling or pushing in a slightly more dynamic way to induce a more dynamic movement. However, the most important thing is that person A is listening as much as possible to B's instruction through the material. When ready, B could suggest some parts of the body to move by naming body parts, and A should go into an improvisation helped by B's voice. A should be following the direction given by their partner connected to the rope moving around the space, at the same time being free to dance with the parts of the body that are not connected to the rope or fabric. With eyes closed if possible, having the choice to follow B's voice suggestions or their imagination. Only for the parts of the body that are free of connection through the fabric or rope, etc. Towards the end, after about 5 to 7 minutes, the facilitator should encourage the participants to slow down and resume the very first position they had, staying a few seconds, 30 at least, on the position, closing their eyes and reconnecting to their feelings and the points of contact with their partners and the floor. The partners should now work in trios. Person A should stand on their feet and person B and C should put a piece of fabric, a sturdy scarf, etc. around A's waist and stand in front of A, face to face, keeping 1 meter of distance between B and C. As A falls back, B and C should let A go and retain them by pulling the scarf towards themselves, controlling A's fall. Then B and C should take A back onto their feet by pulling the scarf even more whilst walking backwards together until A can stand on their own. B and C should always stay in front of A. It is very important that A does not move their feet off the floor, neither take any step, and that they keep their feet still and in contact with the floor, bending slightly their knees in order to allow the right coordination between B and C walking back whilst pulling the scarf, allowing A to get back onto their feet. A should never back bend. Their back should keep their natural curves, with no over-curving in any sense, and they should keep their core strong and engaged to help the coordination of the overall motion. B and C should rock A's body back and forth a few times, and as they get more comfortable, they could let A go lower and lower according to the feeling of trust between themselves and the others. Important. A fourth person could be watching the trio in case of need.
Peur, tristesse, dégoût, haine.
Est-ce qui manque culpabilité?
Culpabilité.
Thank you very much for watching our video. If you're interested in this topic and you want to go further to discover our process, watch our next video.